Welcome to A Drop of Happy, where we focus on carefree, stress-well, light and lively living while loving and reviewing entertainment, art, culture, all that stuff tidbits. I'm your host, your pop culture junkie, Wanda Toby, and as you know, this is the podcast arm to my blog, lightfeed.com, where I encourage you to visit and spread the word, talk about what creative art and entertainment, movies, books, whatever that you like, but also learn about stress management tools and tips to help you manage the things you've got going on with the tools that you already have. And I've been watching a lot of things, if you've listened to the previous podcast. Life is usually a little messy or whatever. And, that's just how it's going to be. I'm also trying out, I don't know how this is going to sound, because I'm trying out this background sound, which I don't know how I feel about. And I'm also trying out a new mic, because I'm still trying to find the best mic, just to get ready for when I'm done with school and I get hot and heavy into really doing this. So, if you've listened to the previous podcast, you know, life is a little crazy. So I'm just kind of trying to figure all things out. So if it doesn't sound good, or if the background music is annoying, because I usually don't do it with anything, please feel free to let me know. But I really wanted to come on here and talk about Spider-Man, that I just watched and I loved, and it was so good. So good. So I watched this past weekend. I think this past weekend was opening weekend. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. So let's talk about it. First of all, of course, I'll let you know when I get to the spoiler part. But first of all, let's talk about the cast. I didn't know my girl Issa Rae was in there. Very excited. I do love her. And Brian Tyree Henry. The first time, I know other people have seen him a lot, but I saw him for the first time in the Disney DC, where he was one of the superheroes. And then, for the life of me, I cannot remember the name of it. Hold on. And then in Bullet Train, I loved him in Bullet Train. Okay. Oh, the Eternals. It was Marvel. Did I say DC? Whatever. It was Marvel. The Eternals, which I kind of liked. I think I did a review for that one, but I can't remember. But then in Bullet Train, and I loved him in Bullet Train. And apparently he's in Atlanta. But guess who's never watched an episode of Atlanta? Don't judge me. That's all. Period. Don't. It's done. But anyway, who else is in there? Oscar O'Hara is in there. Jason Schwartzman. And they, of course, the reprise, Hailey Sanfield, Shameik Moore. Daniel Kaluuya is in there. And I still harbor feelings for him over Black Panther. I'm still mad. I think I'm always going to be mad in the first Black Panther in how he acted. I know it wasn't him, the character, but whatever. So anyway, I'm actually really upset with Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I'm so mad with this movie, and I think that's most likely because I had no idea what I was getting into. I did watch the teaser trailer, and that's it. I just watched the one teaser trailer. So I didn't really know what was it about, what the movie was about. And then I also didn't realize that there were no post-credit scenes because I just expect there to be post-credit scenes. But after watching the whole thing, I understand why that there were no post-credit scenes. Like, I get it in this instance, but I'm still mad. And I'll let you know why when I get to the spoiler section. So if you haven't seen it, please go see it so you can just listen through this whole thing. So Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is actually, or did kill it in the box office. Over the weekend alone, it made about like over 120 million. That's in the US and Canada. And it's getting really good critic reviews. So I take critic reviews for a grain of salt, because I like most movies. Like, it gotta be really, really bad for me not to like it. So I always take critic reviews with a grain of salt. But the fact that it's getting really good critic reviews is really, really good. And I'm really not upset with it because it was a bad movie, because it wasn't. The animated film with Miles Morales as the newest Spider-Bitten hero is freaking fabulous. The graphic designs, especially in the beginning, the graphic design, did I say designs? The graphic design, the graphics, especially in the beginning, it was gritty and raw, and it just like made it feel more organic, which I feel like was a great way to open up. And then they kind of switched it up, but it worked. Like, it so worked. And those little things just, gave the movie like texture. I enjoyed the opening scene before it really dove into the story. Like, it built like a little bit of intrigue as to why we're going in the direction that it was going. And it also gave some insight into Gwen Stacy. Like, it showed a different side of her, which later on tied really well into the story. The music selection, eclectic AF. Just like the first movie, everything was well suited with what was going on, but it was the variety. It wasn't like the same. It wasn't like just hip hop, but it was just like an array of just really good beats, but different types of selection, which that's important because it complemented what was going on screen. I know some people feel funny about watching animated features. They feel like, oh, it's just cartoons. But let me tell you, when the story flows and like you can just get lost, it is so worth it. Most of all, the storyline was like, it did flow and everything came together. But I don't know, was I the only one that was getting Minuteman and Kong the Conqueror vibes? Was it just me? Okay, fine. If it was just me. If you've seen Loki, that's all I'm saying. If you've seen Loki, the Disney series version that's on Disney Plus, if you've seen it, like, come on now. Maybe it's just me, but that's the vibes I was getting. All in all, I enjoyed this so much. I didn't find any pacing issues because y'all know if the pacing is off, it kind of messes it up for me because when pacing is off, I start to think about other things during the movie and stuff like that, and I just kind of get bored and a little restless. But there was no point in time when I felt like that in the theater at all. The story flowed very well again. I loved Childish Gambino did a cameo, and if you know the background story of how the character was kind of created, like almost with like him as a model, like based off him a little bit, which I thought was really cool. So his cameo was really cool, and actually all of the cameos and the clips and things that brought like the other universes together, the Spider-Man, like and the other stuff together. I thought the cameos were like, I always enjoy stuff like that. They're like little Easter eggs. Like, you got to figure it out. And there were just so many details and nuances and little things that brought it all together. All of those little nuggets and little Easter eggs made it entertaining, interesting, intriguing, and just really like pulled you in to the movie. And here's the thing, left me wanting more. And this is, without giving away spoiler, this was the problem. Because I'm sitting there, I'm watching it, I'm all into it, and then it's over. And I'm like, what? Sir, ma'am, somebody. But again, I don't want to give too much away, so I'm not. Just, if you haven't seen it, go out and see it. Go out and get lost for a couple of hours and just be there in the moment with the film and just enjoy it, because it really was a fun watch. And drum roll, 10 out of 10. I don't usually give movies 10 out of 10. I don't know the last movie I gave a 10. Now, funny enough, I love most movies, and the movies have to be really, really bad for me to be like, don't go see it, it's terrible. Or if it's really, really bad, I won't even talk about it. I won't even do a review about it. But on the same token, to me, it has to be thebomb.com for me to give it a 10 out of 10. And this, for me, I think this is the first 10 of the year that I've given, that I've done a review on, that y'all know about, that y'all don't know about. This is the first 10 I've given. So 10 out of 10. Okay? With that being said, I'm about to jump into the spoilers. So if you want to stop listening, stop listening. But spread the word. And I have a pop-up store. So I'm going to put the link to the pop-up store. It's for journals. I will be adding more stuff to the pop-up store. So if you want to support, go on over to my pop-up store and buy something. That would be a great support. There's going to be other stuff that comes on the pop-up store, but for now, it's just some journals with a poem on the back that I wrote. So please, if you know people that like journals, go ahead and get yourself a journal. That's my little plug. That's my little commercial. So spread the word, spreadlightv.com, and the podcast, which is like everywhere, where all podcasts are podcasted. And go ahead, have a great, wonderful day, and remember to always live light and stress well. Now, let's just do a little segue. Wait, oh shoot, I messed up. Okay. Podcast. Now, spoilers. Let's talk about the spoilers. I don't have a whole lot of spoilers, honestly. I do want to talk about Gwen Stacy because, like, in the first Spider-Man, she came off, to me, a little aloof, a little like there was definitely like a mask there, and very one-dimensional characterization in the first one. She was there to serve a purpose, and she was there to move the plot along. So I really enjoyed how they started off with her, and that you got like to see more into her life. So she's played by Haley Steinfeld, whatever. And they showed a different side of her, which I actually enjoyed. She was vulnerable, but more so than like the usual Spider-Mans. I think Peter Parker, the little boy, Zendaya's boyfriend. I know he has a name, but he gonna be Zendaya's boyfriend, okay? They did show a lot more vulnerability with him than I've seen most of them. But for this, I feel like she's was more vulnerable than most. And I mean, I might have to go back and watch them again, which, I'm not opposed to doing, but whatever. I enjoyed that insight. Even when she joined Miguel's team, she still had a level of exposure that put her in like a difficult position. But at the same time, I feel like that was important because it showed how much Miles meant to her, that she broke the rules to go and see him. And of course, her breaking the rules was like, a plot moving thing so that because that's how Spot got out. But I feel like even if she didn't go see him, because obviously that had to happen, they'd find another way for her to get out. But that piece and her having that little happy moment with him, knowing the consequences, was a big deal. Miles Morales, of course, I like him. He's played by Shameik Moore. He's one of the teen characters that I actually like, because typically I don't really be liking teen characters, or especially adolescent characters, because they so stupid. They so old. They be getting on my nerves, which is crazy. I feel like the more they get on my nerves is the more that they've actually done a really good job in the writing and the casting and things like that, because kids are stupid. I was once one, and kids are stupid and they annoy me, but I like him. I like him because I can appreciate that he actually is really trying to hold it down and figure it all out at the same time. And he's really, really trying to do right by his family. He just doesn't have, what the hell? He just doesn't have the right balance at this time. And it takes a lot. And when you talk about like one of the biggest things in managing life and managing situations, which is balance, is balancing things out and keeping a balance, or at the very least understanding how to balance, right? Like recognizing that things are in balance and understanding how to balance, which applies to everyone, but to a teen learning that, it's a lot, and it's an ongoing thing. Now, Miguel O'Hara, played by Oscar Isaac, is not to be trusted. Like, we all know that, right? He clearly by the end of the movie, he was completely unhinged, unreasonable, unhinged, just cray, a little cray, a lot cray. And I feel like there's more to him than meets the eye. That's why I said, like, I'm getting Kang the Conqueror vibes. I'm not, obviously he's not that level of power, but look at what he's created. And I get the background story because of the decision he made. Like, it's just, I just really enjoyed the writing and how everything came together, and how Miles Morales is actually an anomaly himself. But not really, because him being bitten by the 42 Earth spider is, but him himself as a human isn't, right? Okay. Anyway, I can't wait to see the second one, to see how it all plays out, which again is why I was so mad. Okay. Again, Jessica Drew, she is another spider lady, woman, pregnant with a baby, played by Issa Rae. Nice surprise, because I didn't even know Issa Rae was in here. I had no idea. I actually had no idea who was in the film, because I've been so busy, I don't have time to dive in like I usually do. And I actually think that probably is a good thing. Actually, and I feel like there's something to be said about her loyalty. First, she was straight up with Gwen. She was like, listen, she was straight up with her about breaking the rules. She was like, listen, you gonna break the rules and I'm not gonna have your back. You gonna have to deal with the consequences yourself, because you know you're not supposed to do this, and I'm trying to tell you, and you did not listen to me. You did not do what I said, you already know you're in a bad situation. So if you do this, you on your own, sis. Right? Like straight up, like, duh. But ultimately, she really stayed true to what's right and to her mentee, which is Gwen. She stayed true to that. So I thought that was good. I actually really liked her character. But here's the thing. After all that, this is why I'm big mad. And am I big mad? Yes. Yes, I'm big mad. I'm sitting there watching the movie. I'm all into it. I'm all like, yes, pacing's good. Y'all got me. Y'all got my attention. Y'all got me. And then what do you mean I gotta wait for another movie? What do you mean you just boom? Like, what do you mean I don't find out what's going to happen to Miles? Like, how does Miles get back to the Earth where his real parents are? After just finding out that the kid is in the wrong universe, he over here in Earth 42, and then finding out Miles 42 is not Spider-Man, which makes sense because he wouldn't be Spider-Man, but he's actually the Prowler and not his uncle. Right? This is all, we just finding this all out in the last minute. And then seeing that Spot done made it to Earth, whatever, where his parents are and is about to kill his father. And then boom, just you stop right there. And then you don't give us no post credit. Big mad I am. Yes. Big mad. Like, so, and I'm big mad because they did such a good job. I'm big mad because it's a 10 out of 10 and I can't wait till the second one comes out. Spider-Man Across the Verse 2, whatever they're going to call it. That's why I'm big mad. So again, put your opinions, put your thoughts, what have you. And I think the biggest takeaway, from this for me was, like we talked about, was just learning how to balance it all out. Not to say that had Miles figured it out and balanced it out, he still would have been in this predicament because they still going to come for him because all this stuff was still going to happen. But regardless, but I'm here for it. I'm here for it and I'm ready for part 2. And once again, visit my pop-up store. Give somebody some journals so that they can journal and write it out and all that good stuff. More stuff to come. But most importantly, spread the word. Visit lightv.com and share to your social media and all that. And most importantly is to remember to live light and stress well. And thank you for listening.